Stockled here, helping you make every class Catholic. One of the ideas I share with teachers as a place where you might find a connection between something you're responsible for teaching in the curriculum and our Catholic faith is in the liturgy. There's lots of different connections you can find in the liturgy. And one of the things I say is sometimes you go to Mass as a class and there's a song, and maybe the kids like the song, and you can just go back and look at the lyrics of the song and see how those connect with some of the ideas that you're studying. Now, I was in Mass this morning, and this old hymn, we sang this old hymn, For the Beauty of the Earth, which some of you would know. And now the first couple verses is listing beautiful things in the universe, right? Hills and trees and flowers, and we give thanks to God for all this beautiful creation, which is wonderful. And it's connected, of course, with the things we study about the natural world in science class. But then when we got to verse 3, I was like, it got my attention. But before I tell you about verse 3 of For the Beauty of the Earth, I just want to let you know about the new Making Every Class Catholic newsletter over on Substack, where I'll be sharing ideas, lesson plan, prompts, resources, that sort of thing. So check out the link in the description. Go over and subscribe to the new newsletter over there. And while you're at it, why not subscribe to the YouTube channel and click like to help other people find these resources? So we're singing this morning in church, and we get to verse 3, and verse 3 is, For the joy of ear and eye, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony linking sense to sound and sight. Lord of all, to you we raise, is the chorus, this our hymn of grateful praise. And I thought, this is perfect curriculum permeation stuff, because what we talk about when we're looking at teaching science from a Catholic point of view, of course, there's the big questions, the origins of the universe or the evolution of species or things like that, right? But a basic Catholic attitude towards the natural world, but not only towards the natural world, but towards the human person who has a particular role within the natural world, right? Only human beings make scientists, because human beings want to understand the natural world, and they also, the flip side is they have a certain responsibility for it, right? We are the stewards of the natural order, and this is already in the book of Genesis. So when we're studying science, we're paying attention to the world outside of ourselves, the natural order, but we're also paying attention to that unique character in the story of creation, the human person who interacts with the natural order in a way that no other creature that we've encountered does. And if you think about the lyrics from that point of view, for the joy of ear and eye, for the heart and mind's delight, right? So through our senses, through our sight and sound, we perceive things about the natural order and we delight in them. Right? So it's not just this amazing thing out there, mountains and oceans and whatever else, stars, they're all amazing. Well, they're amazing to who? They're amazing why? We delight in them. We find in them something more than just matter, right? We find in them order, we find in them beauty, we find in them signs of some supreme intelligence, right? So when we discern these things with our senses, we can delight in them because we recognize that they're made up of atoms and molecules, but that's not all they are. They actually point beyond themselves in a certain way, and we can apprehend that, and no other creature that we know of does that. So the heart and mind's delight. But now listen to this next line. This is the one that got me. I reached over to my wife. I was like, we're making a video about that one today, right? For the mystic harmony linking sense to sound and sight. You can actually apprehend true things about the world through your senses, right? That's not a guarantee. That's not that rocks can't do that. But also, even if you pay attention to the fact that there are animals in the animal kingdom that have senses that you don't have, and you have senses that not all of them have, right? So you can't take for granted the fact that you can perceive light and patterns and whatever through your eyes. And then make sense of the world around it, right? That you're the kind of creature that understands the world through the senses, and that you have access to truth, right? That your senses give you access to truth. We know that senses are not infallible. We know that they can make mistakes. But we know that actually by paying careful attention to our senses and using our reason, right? We don't know that through some other set of operations, right? So we actually trust our senses to tell us true things about the universe. First, at the level of like material order, right? There's a thing that is reflecting light on a certain wavelength that, from a certain distance, whatever. But then here's the kind of thing that it is, and here's what that means for me, right? The mystic harmony linking sense to sound and sight. I would say sing For the Beauty of the Earth in your science class with your students, and maybe craft a series of questions around the lyrics. Like what sense do they make, particularly of the third verse, though the first two verses are great too. So I hope that was helpful for you. By the way, there are more connections with science and liturgy than you might guess. The liturgy is full of references to the natural order. You got the beeswax candle at Easter. I love the way that the Spirit comes down upon the gifts. Have you ever noticed? That's a science analogy. It comes down on the gifts like the dewfall. You might think about what kind of a thing dewfall is and how it works when you study the dew point, and why that's a good metaphor for the descent of the Spirit. Anyways, I could go on. Here's just one. Check out the lyrics to a hymn, For the Beauty of the Earth, and think about what that means for the human person as a scientist. God bless you.